But they call you the crazy Hawaiian. Why?
It's because it's a persona that I've created um, over the years of me doing slap fighting. It's hard enough to stand there and get slapped, and you kind of have to get out of body to actually go ahead and slap someone else, and it's kind of a brutal thing to do, but the crazy Hawaiian likes to do it, so I let him loose.
What does it say on your business card? Like some people have CEO, I have journalist, you would have
Professional slap fighter.
you even laugh at that. Why is that?
Because it sounds funny, and it's almost it's becoming a sport whether I like it or not. It originally was a spectacle. I viewed it as a spectacle. I didn't have no respect for it. I thought it was just kind of a stupid thing to do. And then I saw the potential in it, and the potential for sportsmanship, for other things. I mean, heck, there's cornhole on ESPN. Why not slap fighting? It's less brutal than an MMA fight, where if your ref doesn't know what he's doing, he'll let you go and throw elbows and unanswered punches to the head. It's less brutal than that. What's really brutal is having a chin that basically is indestructible. That's what I stand by. I know I'm only human, but up until I lose my zero, which I'm undefeated right now, I'm just, yes, I'm gonna just respect my opponent like I've always been. Try to be humble. But the crazy Hawaiian, man, when the crazy Hawaiian comes out, man, he likes to play. So it's like a Jekyll and Hyde kind of thing. So I'd try to keep the crazy Hawaiian
So
in.
Koa, tell me in a nutshell, like what is it? Is there a way to train? Is it like boxing where one round you could do a knockout and you win?
Well, are you talking about the rules of slap fighting and all that? So basically, in a nutshell, you flip a coin, you go first if you win the coin toss. Um, and then there's basic rules like you can't hit them in the thorax or the ear or the temple. You have to kind of place your slaps where it belongs, which is, basically right here. Um, and you cannot flinch and you cannot step, which means when you're throwing your strike, there's no an official watching your step, and then you're not allowed to do that, and it calls for a penalty, which you get slapped again.
How do you win?
Well, there's judges watching, and then also it's per performance. If I slap him and he stumbles a little bit, and then maybe he slaps me next, I don't really stumble and I kind of just take it. That's kind of a win for me. I'm pretty sure the judges kind of know what to look for and who to vote the winner, and I trust the process. Um, I want to solidify my doing as a pioneer in the slap fight game, because it is gonna be a thing, whether people like it or not. People like to see it. Not too many people like to do it, but a lot of people like to see it. So I'm here just trying to entertain, and so my kids can tell, who my dad is.
How do you train for slap fighting? Like I see these on you and I was like, oh, those are pretty slappable. I mean, is that how you train?
um, Basically, how I train is I have a certain technique that I kind of keep to myself, but I basically love the art of boxing. And I go into the boxing gym and I do not train the slap, because that's kind of disrespectful to any boxing coach that opens a boxing gym and hey, here's this professional slap fighter, and comes in and tries to slap his bags, and he's just gonna laugh at it. So I do not train for slap fighting. I train for taking a hit. I train for my placements, my accuracy. My first slap fight I've ever done was against a hillbilly hippie, and I've had, I'd say, more than 10 penalties. Have to have the record for the most penalties in one slap fight because I wasn't hitting him where I was supposed to hit him, swinging for the fences, not hitting my target. So there's a lot to learn when you come into the sport, and there's a lot to take for advantage of.
Does having facial hair help?
It in a way it helps, but I've knocked people out with the same kind of facial hair. So it's almost like, does it really help? But my opponent does not have any facial hair, so it's always gonna be a thing if the facial hair is an improvement or not, or if it helps or not. I honestly cannot tell because it hurts either way. It really does. I make like it doesn't, but obviously I cannot show my opponent what I feel. Um, and that's all to it, to the game. That's trying to
It's a
make
mental game, right? I mean,
it
it's
it
physical, but it's
it's
mental.
all a mental game until you get slapped and it becomes a physical for that split second, but it's mostly mental. If you're in there and you already think you might lose, then you most likely you're gonna lose. Yeah.
So I've seen some of your interviews where you say, your hope is that this will become a legitimized sport, right? Like on
Yeah.
ESPN, that you've seen all these other sports like cornhole, what have you. Do you feel like being at the Arnold this year will give it that credibility?
It's almost like a seesaw because it could go either way. It could gain more publicity because it's such a spectacle, you know, and or it could go the other way where people might respect it as a sport, and that's what I'm trying to bring to the table, because this guy is the Polish champion, he's Russian's champion, and he's a three-time champion. And a lot of people don't know this, but I'm a three-time champion in three different promotions. So we're kind of the same, but he's just got a little bit more bodies under his record. Basically, he's got almost twice the amount that I have. But all they did was tournaments. So and I've done a bunch of one-offs. So I feel like I'm a fresher fighter. I feel like I have a lot to give. I feel like I have an entertaining personality within the Crazy Hawaiian. Um, I'm not the Crazy Hawaiian all the time. I'm really a happy-go-lucky father, and that I love to be. With my kids, they think it's funny that when every time I walk around and trying to scare them like I'm the Crazy Hawaiian.
And I can see you as a dad saying, don't slap your sister or your brother, right? Like, don't do that. What did you
Yeah.
do before this?
Construction work, just all out work. I was
Yeah.
all about work. I was kind of a workaholic, and I do not have a 9 to 5 right now because I did snag a contract that will help me provide for my family. But other than that, I'm still looking for endorsements, and I believe it will happen soon. There's no way that I'm gonna just be left on the table. That's somebody's prized possession over there. I'm leaving on the table. So it's up for grabs. I don't have an official endorsement, but it was promised to me by the people that are putting together this slap fight.
Is
Thank
it
you.
a close slap or a
I prefer a kind of an open.
open hand?
Yeah, I prefer kind of just an open hand. I think with the closed, you get more controversial. Like, what is he doing? It almost looks like a closed fist.
Yeah.
It's really too close. So that's why I purposely spread my fingers so that because my slaps are so kind of so fast that it almost looks like a punch. And if you really slow it down, my fingers are just out there.
Yeah. I gotta ask you though, Koa, do you ever get people who come up to you and say, I know it's kind of a sport, but slapping people is just not proper etiquette?
No, yeah, no, it's not. It's really not. And I saw it on YouTube and I was like, wow, these guys are really hitting each other. And I was working construction one day and I saw an ad for it. And I told my fiance, I said, hey, should I try out for this? And she said, go for it. So it was more so taken as a joke, until it became a big viral thing. And now I'm just kind of running with it, hoping for the best and the all around experience to do with anything slap fighting related. Um, but of course, my mom's like, oh my God, don't hurt them too bad, this and that. And I feel bad. I always try to, comfort my opponent afterwards, every single time. So it's not like I'm out there just, being brutal to people. It is a sport, and that's why I'm taking it to that sport level, so I can feel like it's an official thing and not just, a brutal thing. Because if you think about it, a lot of sports are kind of brutal. Um, and slap fighting, I feel like it's quick, decisive. um it's just a few slaps to the face, which no one really likes. But it's gonna continue. People are gonna continue to push this as a sport, and I'm just here to basically say, hey, this can be a spectacle, but we can kind of make it a sport. It's not just all fun and games. We can kind of organize it and try to be, uh, with rules and all this kind of little things, try to get the athletic commissioners involved. Um, hey, well, let's get a physical for all the fighters, let's get a vision test, let's get insured, stuff like that. And if we're gonna keep doing it for free, and there's a lot of little boys and girls that are gonna be missing out on their parents because they decided, hey, let's do slap fight without being insured.
Right.
So that's
Well,
that's the whole thing.
you're clearly a pioneer and you have great vision. So I wish you the best of luck, Koa. And I'm so
Thank you so
glad I
much.
can say I interviewed the crazy Hawaiian.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you. I really do.